Before I received Christ, I hated people, and I felt like I had nothing to do with any human being on the world. I felt like nothing good is from me. There's nothing good that will ever come out of me. And so because of that, I also hated myself personally, and I felt like there's no love in the world. I was born in Uganda, and I lost my mom at the childbirth, and in other words, I was orphaned at birth. And when I was born, I was taken to an orphanage. So I grew up in an orphanage from the day I was born to the age of 5 years. That's when I was adopted. I stayed in this family for 2 years, and I eventually decided to run away out of this family because the life seemed to be really hard on me, especially to the fact that I was beaten every day and sometimes denied food, and I was not considered maybe as a human being. So I decided to run away, and because I was young, I didn't know where I was going by that time. I didn't know any family. I didn't have family. I ended up living on streets of Uganda as a street child. Getting food was a miracle. Sometimes even getting a drop of water was another miracle. I knew that no one loves me and no one is there for me, so I had to stand on my own and face the challenges of the world the way they are. I just felt like I am down, nothing good that will ever come from me. And I knew that my life is just to wait for death to come. While on the streets, I was adopted and by a person who knew me right from the orphanage, who saw me on the streets eating in the trash and took me back to an orphanage where I found like another home. And in that orphanage, of course, my life was very different. I isolated myself. I hated people. I hated everyone. I hated myself. During that time, I was again adopted. And I felt this time that I never wanted to be adopted because I knew what adoption was. Though this time it was different. With them, I never lacked anything. But still, in all those processes, I didn't know God and what God was. I attended Bonaston Leadership Academy, which is a American school in Rwanda, and it is a Jesus-centered school. And it is in that school that I met the principal, who is like my godfather, because his love for me broke my heart and led me to Christ. He provided for me until the day I asked him that, what will I ever do to appreciate you? He said to me that the only thing you will ever do to appreciate me is, one, by loving others the way I've loved you, and the second thing is by accepting Jesus as your personal Savior. Because me, I am nothing, but it's through Jesus that you will have a good life. I did not only receive Christ, but I also received salvation. Salvation that led to deliverance. Because where there was hatred, there was love. And from that day, I started realizing that something good can come out of from me. I grew a passion. I felt like if no one loved me in my childhood, if I grew up as an orphan, there is something I can do to orphans. Now that I understand their needs, now that I understand their pain, most of their pain is not the needs of going to school, to expensive schools. The orphan needs is not to provide them with expensive clothes, but to feel that they are loved. And in 2009, I officially opened up a home for 12 orphan kids that were street kids. I have 12 young children that I provide day-to-day food, make sure they go to school, make sure they have medical insurance, And on top of that, make sure that I love them, that they smile at least every morning, that I hug them every time I go back to Rwanda. I feel so much happy because I'm not only knowing Christ, but I am sharing Christ with those young children and teaching them that no matter what, they will have to face the challenges. And only in Jesus Christ they will overcome the challenges. And so this is not my story, but it's God's story, so it's worth telling.